We have former Dayton Flyer Hall of Famer Brian Roberts with us. Brian, welcome in. I appreciate your time today.
Hey, no problem.
Hey, so this is a very cool ordeal that just was announced a little bit ago, a project you're involved in again. So moving forward, name, image, likeness, athletes can begin making money off of that. Before we get into the project you're with, just talk about what that means for college athletes today and how much would that have meant to you? What would you have been able to do during your playing days, as big of a star as you were then and still are now amongst the Flyer faithful? How big of a deal is this for athletes moving forward, and how big of a deal would it have been for you back during your playing days?
Yeah, I'm happy for these guys. It's an exciting time for, all student athletes to be able to, take advantage of this in the right ways. And, for me, I wish it was something like this back in 2008, because, it's not even just about, the money. That's a little part of it, but it's also cultivating, networking relationships, getting involved in the business community without, having to worry about, oh, am I doing this? Am I doing this wrong? Is this illegal? So, this is just a great, step, I think, for these athletes to engage in the community, and for the community to engage with these athletes as well.
Now, with you being involved with Flyer Faithful LLC, which, again, you purchased real estate, which includes the field house, a bar on Brown Street, as well as some other rental properties around Brown Street. That was a pretty cool business venture that was announced back in 2020. At what point did you really start thinking about, okay, looking at the opportunities coming out for name, image, and likeness for today's college athletes? At what point did you look at that and say, hey, there's going to be an opportunity there for your business venture along with the personal interests of the players as well?
Right. Yeah. So getting involved with that was kind of the initial step for me to, get back into the Dayton community. But, I kept not a close eye, but I monitored this whole name, image, likeness legislation as it, kind of evolved, and it was starting to get more momentum. So I think over the last, couple of weeks, me and, some of the guys in the group, guys like Matt Farrell, we kind of just talked and thought of different ways that, we could, potentially, help out and be involved. And I thought, me being a former player, I thought, it was a good thing, and it'd be cool for me to, kind of help these guys who, I was in these guys' shoes, not that long ago. Well, at this point, it is kind of long.
I was going to say, 2008 didn't seem like that long ago, but it does now.
No, it does. It really does. So, it just was, I thought it'd be cool to find a way to make this thing work. And, that's where we're at right now.
Now, especially with it picking up momentum as of late, the name, image, and likeness debate. Was that something that back in your playing days that you just felt like very restricted? It was just the norm, right? It was just part of, okay, we can do this, we can't do this. When you look at the momentum that it picked up, which led to the pressure of it finally being passed to where these guys can make money off of their name. Thinking back to when you played, was there ever any talk amongst you and your teammates, whether it be in AAU in high school and all the way on to college and even the pros, that you're like, man, we should have been able to make money off of our name? Like, when did that really become a sticking point for you?
I think when someone, kind of brought it up, but like when I was playing, it's just what it was. It's just what it was.
Mm-hmm.
We weren't, sitting here, man, I wish we could do this or do that. It's just, that was the time, and that just, how things were done. So it really wasn't a thought in my mind to the point where I'm like, man, we need to do something, until, somebody kind of brought up the idea of that. And, it got some momentum in the news, and, obviously there were lawsuits and, things going on legally that, made it more in the public, that maybe college athletes should be able to, at some point get some money or some compensation for what they do for these universities. So, when I was playing, I really didn't think about it, but, at this point, it's like, I think it makes sense. I want to be able to help these guys, not only financially, but, in any capacity, whether it's, getting in the business community when they're done playing or whatever. I just want to be a resource for these guys, because, like I said, I was in their shoes, so I know what it's like. So, that's kind of where I'm at in my thought process on the whole thing.
Former Dayton Flyers great Hall of Famer Brian Roberts with us here on the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine. Brian, we hear a lot of people say, well, this is really, it's not going to benefit all athletes. It's only going to benefit the Dukes and the Kentuckys and the Kansases of the world. It's not going to help the smaller schools. I'm not saying Dayton's like a small school, because you look at the resources, the facilities, and the passion of the fans. But do you believe that? Not so much from a UD angle, but do you believe that that's the case, that this is only going to benefit those bigger schools, or is this an example right here, right off the bat on day one, of athletes being able to make money off their name, image, and likeness, that this is going to be spread around all sports and all sizes?
Yeah, I think it can be. I think it comes down to the community in which these colleges are located in. Obviously, you look at the big time schools, like you said, Duke, Kansas, and all those. That's probably easier for them to have opportunities to take advantage of this. But for schools like Dayton or any school, it's all about the community. And I think no matter the size of the school, if you can get everybody on board to help these college athletes, which will in turn help these local businesses or whatever the case may be, and helping the university at large, it all kind of works together. So I think it puts more of the onus on people around these universities to somehow engage in a way that they can take advantage of it.
You talked about engagement and everything like that, but also the education for the student athletes and everything like that. What are you guys doing to make sure you guys are putting them in the best position to educate themselves, to not to take bad deals, quote unquote, be on the up and up? And are you guys teaming up with the university as well?
Yeah, I think, as this starts to become more clear, it's so early in the process, I think I wanted to be, kind of one of the first ones to get involved, just so I can, be a resource, like I said, not only just with the financial part, but, if in any avenue, whether it's understanding the business side of things or just networking and connecting, these guys in more of a, not a fan player, kind of relationship, but, kind of a business relationship, and just getting them exposed to that. If that's an avenue that these guys want to explore, I'm open to that. But, it's still early on to kind of see where this can go. But, I think it's moving in the right direction, obviously. And, I wanted to be one of the first ones to kind of help out.
Yeah, this is pretty cool, pretty exciting. We were sitting here saying, okay, July 1st, first day that these guys can make money off their name, image, likeness. We were sitting back waiting for, okay, what's the first deal we're going to see? And it's pretty cool that it's tied in with the former Flyer being yourself. I think that's pretty cool. But what is entitled with this, Brian? Is it through one or two athletes in particular? Is it the team as a whole? How is this deal? Is it distributed through UD? Is it like a UD deal? Is it with the players individually? And what will their responsibilities, what will their services be in exchange for the profit, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, so we have a kind of a social media kind of contract with any of the players that want to jump on board. It's just to kind of get their feet wet with this stuff. It's posting some things on their social media concerning the real estate ventures that we have with the Flyer Faithful, and being able to put that out there and just get that out there that we have some real estate available, apartments and stuff like that. So I think right now that's the initial thinking and thought process behind these contracts that we're sending out to the players.
So again, are you when you set this deal up, is it through the athletics department? Is it through what is it with UD, the players individually? It sounds like it's more like of a UD centric deal with the access to the players, correct?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. And that's what we were curious of, how that was going to work directly and everything. So this is pretty neat, pretty excited about it. Excited that you, being a former Flyer, the one that really opened the door for the first business venture with these athletes. I think that's pretty cool. And Kevin, we just need 1 or 2 more minutes of your time. We'd be really angry if we couldn't ask you an NBA playoff question or two, because I'm pretty sure you're watching like all of us.
Yeah, I'm checking it out for sure. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now, you had that relationship with Monty Williams. He was your coach earlier in your career back with the Pelicans. Talk about your relationship with him and how he's able to communicate with young players.
Listen, I owe a lot too. That man, he was an instrumental part of, me as not only a player, but as a person. To have him as my first coach in the NBA, I mean, you can ask any of the players that have played under him. He's just such a stand-up guy, and he's just a high character person. So I'm super happy for him and what he's done, obviously in Phoenix there, and it's something that I'm proud to see him at that level and see what he's done, because I know the type of person he is and how he coaches young men, not only just as players, but, as people. So it's a joy to watch, him. And I'm looking forward to seeing him, in the finals and watching that team, because he's done a hell of a job with that team, obviously. And him and CP getting back together, player coach, they've done some special things, obviously. So I owe him a lot, as far as my career and where it has progressed. So, he means a lot to me.
Awesome. Now, it looks like it's a complete war of attrition, especially in the Eastern Conference, with Giannis not playing tonight, Trae Young still questionable. Who are the Phoenix Suns going to play in the finals, man?
I think it's Milwaukee. I think, Milwaukee will find a way to get the job done. I know Atlanta's hot, and it's hard to go against a team like that who's playing so well, kind of the underdog role. But I think Milwaukee will find a way to get to the finals, and it'll be Phoenix, Milwaukee.
Nice. Now, one last question, man. If Patrick Beverley would have pushed you like he pushed you 3 last night, what would have been your reaction?
Hey, if I was playing as well as Chris Paul was playing last night, I would have laughed too. I'd have been like, all right, go ahead. That just means I got in your head. That means, that was the white flag right there.
Facts.
So I would have been like, you know what? It's over. That was it. I'm going to the finals after that.
But that's so weak, though, because, again, the series is done. He can't. Well, he maybe could be suspended heading into next regular season, but no one's thinking that far. You're just pissed off because your team just lost or whatever. But that was weak. And on Twitter, he apologized and said that, hey, that wasn't meant for you. What do you mean that wasn't meant for you? You shoved him to the ground with his back to you. I mean, that was unreal.
The smoke was real.
That was definitely meant for one person and one person
only. Like, come on now. Hey, Brian, thank you so much for hanging out with us today. We really appreciate it. If you don't mind, give us this. So without revealing too much, when can we expect to start seeing some of these promotions on these players' social medias moving forward? Is there a plan for that yet, or was this just laying the groundwork to come up with that strategy moving forward?
Yeah, like I said, we're finalizing, getting these contracts and everything, in order and everything. So I'd expect, some posts maybe in the next couple weeks. That's kind of the timeline. I think it's safe and fair.
All right, sounds like a plan. Actually, this is so you said the Bucks are getting to the finals. Are the Bucks beating the Suns, or the Suns beating the Bucks? And again, assuming and hoping that Giannis is healthy, of course.
Yeah, at that point, Phoenix, Milwaukee. I'm going to say Phoenix makes it happen, man. Phoenix just shocks the world and takes it, I think.
All right, good stuff. Hey, Brian, take care. Best of luck moving forward. I think this is awesome what you're doing, and I know the community appreciates it, the Flyers appreciate it, and hey, the players appreciate it. They love that. So there you go.
For sure.
All right,
take
care.
No question. Thank you, guys.
Yep, take care. All right, that was Brian Roberts, Dayton Flyers Hall of Famer. Appreciate